Hello everybody, this video is entitled Max Fear, Why the Market Tests You, because the market has tested us this November, as some people used to call it, Moonvember. Well, it is no such thing. It could actually end up being the worst November since 2008. But anyways, this Friday the market is very volatile, but it was especially bad this morning. The drop this morning, the fear this morning has been essentially sucked onto none. I think the fear and greed index actually got worse than it was in April. This morning, the fear index was at a 6 on CNN. So, the joke goes, can it go negative? I don't really know. But, it's tough to make a market even more fearful than this. And the market dropped in pre-market, and they kept dropping. And all of a sudden, the market had a change of heart, and it started bouncing back. And as I record this, it's going back down a little bit, So anyways, this market is complete nonsense. Note how it's the same for crypto. Fear and greed is extreme fear too in crypto at 11. That's one of the lowest I've ever seen for crypto as well. And crypto dropped to 80,000 on some exchanges. Actually, I believe it broke down the 80,000 mark on some exchanges. But these are aggregates of all exchanges. So enormous liquidations in crypto as well. $2 billion wiped out. We've had just people losing so much money in crypto, and it's especially cruel, right? Because this happened when most influencers were calling it October and then Moonvember, right? So that's especially cruel, I believe, the fact that this happened with this timing. Like we're used to this happening to crypto, but the timing has been not very good. Anyways, note how the market was crashing and kept crashing this morning, despite the good news. The crash of this morning was going on in spite of the good news, which is a Fed official said that there could be a rate cut because there were issues with the repo this morning. Anyways, macro issues are intensifying, the Fed board issued some positivity. One of the Fed official issued positivity. And so the odds immediately moved back to, the rate cut is back on. We're now at 61%, 69% for the CME Fed watch tool. But, to me, this is all what I'm going to call, moving forward, this is Fed brutality. This is what this is in my view. And kind of, my funny, but, it's not funny because people are actually getting very annoyed and some people are losing money off of this, is for the past 5 years. Yeah, it's been almost 5 years, right? After the events of 2020 is when the Fed madness began. For the past 5 years, it's as though Mr. Market had the wildest reactions to the words being uttered by the geriatrics department at the Fed. This is kind of like the clown show that is going on. It is a clown show in my view. Like it's like you have to figure out what the words uttered mean for rate cuts, and the fact that we have the money supply controlled by a geriatrics committee is so annoying. To me, it's so annoying. In May 2026, in my view, everything is going to change. And the market reaction should have been very positive to this morning. But guess what? It was not for 2 hours. And this is why on X, right, Invest in Assets shows this. And I very much like this a lot. It's like, this company is going to excel. Excel. Did you say sell? You sell, and they sell. And the guy leaves. Goodbye. This is madness. I can't take it anymore. Goodbye. Bye. Everybody buys. It's ridiculous. This is literally what's happening. Because trying to apply any logic to short-term movements is not possible. I don't know what to say. These short-term movements make absolutely no sense in my view. The market one day believes AI is alive, another day it believes AI is dead. It believes crypto is alive, crypto is dead. Same thing, and it's just a manic depressive person, right? Ben Graham, the intelligent investor, was already describing that back in the day. Manic depressive, bipolar, whatever you want to call it. That's the market. Anyways, let's talk about strategy. So strategy it didn't used to be that Strategy was mostly a Bitcoin company. Actually, many of us who got into the stock in very early days, we just thought it was a software company with a little bit of a Bitcoin bag. It's just that they grew the Bitcoin bag so large that now it's a 98% or 99% Bitcoin company, but it didn't used to be this way. Strategy as an operating business, and of course, Sailor would get very offended to the FUD that what was happening today. So let's talk about the FUD. FUD issued by JP Morgan. JP Morgan talking about a note from MSCI. And MSCI, by the way, I mean, they're big, but they're really not that big. Like, they do the total world index funds and all that sort of stuff. And MSCI said, maybe we should remove treasury companies from their smaller indices. And if you look at the way the note was written, is they seem to be associating MSCI, which is the smaller indices, to the QQQ, which is the big kahuna, the big index is the QQQ. So the QQQ is a mechanical index. There is no such thing to the QQQ. The QQQ, as far as I'm concerned, is not threatened by the MSCI letter. MSCI does not decide what goes into the QQQ. QQQ is mechanical. The reason why I put the market cap in there, the only thing that decides what goes into the QQQ is the market cap of the company. And so Sailor was quick this morning to dispel this FUD, talking about they are a software business. They are a publicly traded company with a $500 million in sales software business. And actually, I'm glad they kept the software business, because that helps them fight this FUD that they are somehow not an actual company. They're a real company, and then on top of that, they are a treasury company, right? They are a bank of the future, as some people would call it. And some people say a strategy bank is eventually what this will be called. So obviously, this is a FUD piece. But that FUD piece really worked. Imagine Bitcoin down to 80K, as well as the stock trading like below 169, like something like 168. I think it was 169 or something like that. Entirely ridiculous. And of course, my viewers are so tired of hearing me, comment on the day-to-day of this. But Strategy is actually outperforming Bitcoin this morning. It's only down 0.79%. When Bitcoin, as I record this, is down 1.23%. And actually, the MNAV is rebounding a tad. It was 0.89 2 days ago. So you see, we're actually doing a little better. We're certainly doing better than I think we would have been doing if had I known we would be hitting 80K. Absolutely insane, by the way, that we hit 80K. The market makers, the manipulators, the DEXs, the hyperliquids of the world are making it so much worse for the crypto field and the crypto space. But I do want to point out that if you look at these movements, it's really more indicative of the manic-depressive interpretation of Mr. Market, of whatever the geriatrics committee at the Fed is going to say. Because if you look at most stocks, they all have the same pattern, and these swings are insane. Let's talk about AI, right? I listened to the whole NVIDIA conference call. Outstanding. I have rarely, if ever, seen a CEO be this confident in the future of his company, like pure confidence. That conference call was pure alpha, if you ask me. Jensen was stellar in that call. Raised guidance, beat guidance, everything you wanted was in that call. The stock is up intraday. There's nearly a 5% move intraday. Think about that. This is a $4.5 trillion company who does a 5% move. So essentially, NVIDIA moves by like one Robinhood in an hour. Like in 1 hour, you can create or you can destroy one Robinhood, or like one well, maybe not one Palantir, but almost. You know what I mean? Like you can create and destroy. It's entirely ridiculous. The issue is the denominator. The issue is the denominator. It's not the stock. The stock is going to be the stock. It's going to do what it does. The manipulation, the problem with the stock is all about the denominator being fearful, being manipulated, being related to flows. When the 10-year drops, the yields drop, and so the money flows back into the market. But if the yields increase, then the money leaves the market and goes back into government bonds as if that was the future. Anyways, CleanSpark, you can see, of course, this is one of the company that I think is going to do an AI pivot soon. The market was thinking that just 3 weeks ago, right? This stock was double where it is today just 3 weeks ago. It's bouncing back intraday. Nebius, think about that, 10% bounce within the day. We go from up to way down to way up. I mean, a company like that, so for Nebius, that'd be like a $2 billion move. Like the valuation oscillates $2 billion, depending on the hour of the day, plus 2 billion, minus 2 billion. So you have enormous amplitude. Cypher Mining, right? This was a hot stock. They signed a major deal with Google, I believe it was, right? Google. They signed a major deal with them, and it's like the market left it for dead, trading at $13, like low $13 earlier today. So anyways, the market is testing you. The key here is, no leverage, no short-term options. Short-term options can be deadly. Leverage can be deadly. Don't get wiped out in TradFi. Don't get wiped out in crypto rails, although most of my viewers probably access crypto via TradFi. Anyways, I'll conclude with this. Marty Porty, right? Another account to follow for Alpha. He always has good info. That was trending on Twitter, right? I just decided to show you his explanation. We could have a Thanksgiving rally. Why could we have a Thanksgiving rally? Because apparently President Trump wants to have a deal with Ukraine to end the Ukraine conflict by Thanksgiving. I believe this would be very, very, very bullish for the markets. You may remember. I mean, in the 2020s, we've had so many crashes. It's tough to remember them all. We've had so many 2008 style crises that it's tough to remember them all. But of course, when the Ukraine conflict started, the markets in the US hated it. I remember it was dropping so much. So if the market has any logic, ending the conflict would probably help out the markets a lot. It would normalize a lot of relations. We know Russia is a big economy, a big energy player. And it's just an all-around good thing to end a war. So I'm really hopeful for this. I think this could be an enormous catalyst going into year end, and something to be thankful for if that actually happened, that they would end the war in Ukraine. That has been an overhang on the markets for many years now. And of course, I wanted to conclude with this. You can see, if you look at any stock, if you look at all of the movements of stock, if you look at HIMS, like HIMS should be thriving in this context of max fear, right? They sell prescription products that are like kind of essential services, right? ED meds, hair loss meds. This is kind of the stuff that people are not likely to cancel when you have a like $50 a month ED subscription. This company should trade way more than this. I consider it a recession-resistant stock, and it's not behaving like a Walmart, for example, which was up 6% yesterday. It's behaving like any other growthy asset growth stock. I mean, it's almost ridiculous. Tesla also up 4%. So these movements of these companies, to me, as I look at the market, as I look at everything, as I look at the Nasdaq, the S&P, the Finviz chart, when I look at all these movements, to me, it's all about the denominator. The denominator doesn't know what it wants to do with risk assets right now. It's a denominator issue. It's not an underlying issue of these companies, in my view. I love stocks very much, and I love many of the stocks I cover on the channel very much. And I'm hopeful this is the day where the pain ends. Options expire tonight. We reset for another quote unquote month, right? Options month. I'm very hopeful that we will bounce back and better minds will prevail during Thanksgiving. At least that's what I'm hopeful going into next week. Anyways, this was not investment advice. This is not financial advice. This is only entertainment. I'm hoping you are entertained. Please like, please subscribe, follow me on Patreon, follow me on X. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.